The scream shattered the calm of a sleepy Sunday morning. It echoed across the lakeside like a bolt of lightning tearing through a still sky. The sound came from a young mother, barefoot, panic-stricken, and soaked to the knees, her trembling arms outstretched toward the water. She was screaming a name that hadn't even been spoken for more than a few days. "Emma, my baby, please, somebody help." Her newborn, barely 2 weeks old, had vanished beneath the surface of Lake Middleton. The world seemed to freeze. Just moments before, laughter had danced through the air as families enjoyed the last days of summer. People sunbathed, children played in the sand, and parents chatted idly under umbrellas. But now, the horror unfolding before them had turned that blissful morning into a nightmare. Everything changed in an instant. Anna Collins, 27, had only looked away for a few seconds. The infant carrier, her tiny daughter Emma bundled safely inside, had been placed a few feet from the water's edge. A gust of wind, stronger than she could have expected, rolled it forward, unnoticed at first. Then came the splash, the cold, gut-wrenching splash that stole Anna's breath and turned her insides to ice. She ran. She didn't even remember her feet moving, but by the time she reached the water, the carrier was gone. Emma was gone. People gathered, shouts rang out, but no one jumped in. The lake was deep, dark, and known for thick, treacherous reeds beneath the surface. Panic rooted the crowd in place, each second stretching into an eternity. And then, through the stunned silence, came a sharp bark. Max was a retired canine dog, a Belgian Malinois with a graying muzzle and eyes still full of fire. He was 10 years old and had served with Officer James Dalton for nearly a decade. Today, they had simply come to enjoy the sun, a rare day off from the shadows of sirens and streets. But instincts don't retire. Max had heard the splash. He'd heard the scream, but more than that, he'd felt the panic in the air, the kind of panic he'd been trained to respond to. Without hesitation, he bolted. Officer Dalton barely had time to register what was happening. "Max!" he shouted, but it was too late. The dog dove into the lake, slicing through the water like a missile. People gasped, unsure whether to be inspired or terrified. The ripple spread. Seconds passed. The silence returned. Then bubbles rose to the surface. And Max's head emerged, jaws clamped gently around the tiny blanket that had floated free. Behind him, barely visible in his grip, was a motionless baby, wet, blue-lipped, eyes closed. Cries broke out as Dalton rushed into the water, helping Max back. Together, they pulled the child ashore. Anna collapsed, sobbing and reaching, as EMTs rushed forward. One began CPR. Another prepared an oxygen mask. Max sat beside them, dripping wet, his chest heaving. The crowd held its breath. 1 minute passed, 2, and then, a cough. A weak, gurgling, beautiful cough. Baby Emma opened her eyes. Tears flowed like the lake itself. People applauded. Some dropped to their knees in silent gratitude. Anna clutched her daughter like she would never let go again. And Max, he simply lay down beside them, his tail thumping softly against the grass, as if he knew. Officer Dalton wiped a hand over his face, his voice cracking when he finally spoke. He's always been a hero. But today, he was a guardian angel. But the story didn't end there. Emma was rushed to the hospital, where doctors confirmed she would be okay, thanks to how quickly she was rescued. There was no water in her lungs, no brain damage. A miracle, they said. A miracle with paws and a worn collar. As for Anna, the trauma of that day etched deep into her heart, but so did something else, gratitude. Overwhelming, all-consuming gratitude. She and Emma visited Max and Officer Dalton every week after that. She brought treats and toys, but most importantly, she brought love. Max became a local celebrity. News outlets ran the story. Social media exploded. People wrote letters, sent gifts, and even donated to a fund that was quickly created in his name, the Max Guardian Fund, to support K-9 units across the state. In time, Max slowed down. His legs grew stiffer, his walks shorter. But his spirit, that never faded. When he passed peacefully in his sleep a year later, Emma, now a wide-eyed toddler, was there, holding his paw. "He saved me," she would tell people as she grew older. "He's the reason I'm here." And every year on the day of her rescue, Anna and Emma still visit Lake Middleton. They toss flowers into the water. And beside the lake now stands a small statue, weathered but proud, with a plaque that reads, To Max, the guardian who dove into darkness to bring back the light. This story isn't just about a dog who saved a baby. It's about courage when no one else moves. It's about instincts forged in trust, duty, and love. It's about how heroes don't always wear capes, sometimes, they wear fur. And it's a reminder that in the moments when all hope seems lost, salvation can come from the most unexpected place, sometimes, on four legs, with a bark that breaks the silence. Max didn't just rescue a child. He rescued a mother's heart. He reminded the world what bravery really looks like.